Welcome back, you guys. This is your second stimulus check update and second stimulus package update for Wednesday, August the 12th. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Wednesday. Several things I want to cover today. Number one, I want to get into the update on the second stimulus checks and why I believe that they are still coming and why we have nothing to worry about. A lot of you guys on my previous video, you said you wanted me to focus a little bit more on the stimulus checks. And so I've heard you guys. And like I said, I read your comments all the time. So, I love the feedback. Keep dropping comments. Many of you guys I see every single day, and I really appreciate the love. You always say hi to me. You say hi to my wife. I really appreciate that, you guys. Monthly stimulus checks. I got to talk about this one because I think that this may have legs, and I'm going to go into the details on why I believe that is the case. Also, you guys, we are approaching 100,000 subscribers in this family, and our family is just continuously growing. I really, really love it. I love you guys. I really appreciate the support. It's just getting crazy. And, I want to do something special for you guys. So toward the end of this video, I'm going to discuss how you can actually take part in this giveaway that I'm going to be doing. So make sure you stay to the very end of this video. And also, like I said, I always read your comments. So toward the end of this video, I'm also going to take some questions from the comments. So for all you guys who don't know, my name is Ron. We cover all things personal finance, investing, how to make more money, and how to generate multiple streams of income. So if you're interested in any of that, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And just a quick reminder, I was looking at the stats and I do see that the majority of people who view my videos are not subscribed. Guys, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. So anyway, let's jump right into it. So the first thing I wanted to cover was, the updates on the stimulus checks. So let's just jump right into it. So this past weekend, President Trump signed 4 executive actions, and one of which was the $400 per week federal unemployment insurance benefit. Now, the reason why he took action was because up until Friday, we were expecting that Congress would have reached a deal in terms of passing the next stimulus package, providing us with the $1,200 stimulus check, and, extending the federal unemployment insurance benefits, extending the eviction moratorium. Unfortunately, none of that happened. So President Trump was forced to take executive action, which he did. And so that's where we are. And so since a deal was not reached as of Friday, and we've heard that a number of different congressmen and women have taken off, many people have lost hope that we may not get a second stimulus check. And I really don't think that's the case. And I'm going to break it down for why I don't think so. Number one, there are several different things that both the House and the Senate agree on. And the biggest thing is that they do agree upon a second stimulus check. There's no argument there. In fact, when you look at the HEROES Act, there was a $1,200 stimulus check in there. When you look at the HEALS Act, which was presented by the Senate, primarily Republicans, there was a $1,200 stimulus check in there. There is no argument about whether or not there would be a second stimulus check. But in fact, there are actually several key issues that both Democrats and Republicans can agree on. In fact, one of those things is the stimulus check, also known as the direct payment. We've heard from Steve Mnuchin earlier this week, and here's a direct clip from Steve Mnuchin on what he had to say about it.
There is still a lot of things that we need to do and that we've agreed on. And let me just go through a few of them. First of all, schools. The president wants to make sure that there's enough money to open schools safely. That's something that's very important. I think you've heard me say.
Steve Mnuchin just confirmed that Democrats and Republicans can both agree on spending $100 billion on schools reopening.
We've agreed on more money for PPP for businesses that are particularly hard hit, getting a second check.
Both Democrats and Republicans agree on refunding or providing additional financial allocation to the PPP program to support small businesses and not the larger corporations that took advantage of the program previously.
We've agreed on more direct payments like we sent out last time.
And you just heard it directly from Steve Mnuchin. They support direct payments. Direct payments are also known as stimulus checks.
The Democrats wanted money for food, so we compromised on that. We want money for vaccines, hospitals, rental assistance, and we've given them flexibility, and we've offered more money for state and local.
All right, guys, so as you can see, it's not just the stimulus checks that they are agreeing on. It's schools, money for PPP, additional stimulus checks, money for vaccines, additional money for food and rental assistance. So there are a number of different very, very key hot topics that both Democrats and Republicans agree on. So as you can see, talks are still taking place. There is clear motivation to get additional stimulus money out to the people, and I think something's going to happen here shortly. Now, earlier in this video, I discussed how a monthly stimulus check may actually be becoming more and more likely to happen, and I want to break down my thought process on why that might happen. Now, a couple of videos back, I went over 4 stimulus package videos and I rated them in terms of which was most likely versus least likely. Now, the least likely stimulus package at the time was the $2,000 per month stimulus package that was being promoted by Kamala Harris. Now, Kamala Harris teamed up with a number of different congressmen and women, including Bernie Sanders, Ed Markey, and a number of others. Now, the way that this package would have worked, it was $2,000 per month plus $2,000 per dependent. So for example, a family of 4, 2 parents and 2 kids, that could have been $8,000 per month. And at the time, that seemed incredibly unlikely to happen. And it kind of died because not too many people were really talking about it. It seemed like it lost a lot of steam. But that was until recently. So things are getting really interesting in how they're setting up, and I want to break this down for you guys. Now, keep in mind this $2,000 per month stimulus bill would only be effective during the pandemic. This is not forever, but I just want to break this down for you guys. According to Ballotopedia, a total of 470 seats in the U.S. Congress, 35 for Senate, and 435 House seats are up for election by November 3rd, including 2 special elections for the U.S. Senate. Now, why does this really matter? The reason why this matters is because the House is being dominated by the Democrats. The Senate is being dominated by Republicans. And of course, we currently have a Republican president. So if you look at the head count in the Senate, you've got 45 Democrats, you've got 53 Republicans, and you've got 2 independent party members. Now, those 2 independent party members historically have voted Democratic. Now, let's just totally ignore those independents for now, right? All you'd need to see is 5 Republicans to actually get replaced by 5 Democrats, and then you'd have a Democratic majority within the Senate. Now, if you maintained a Democratic majority within the House, and let's just say 5 seats get swapped to a point where the Democrats lead in the Senate, you would literally have a majority Democratic-led House and majority Democratic-led Senate. Now, if you look at the polls, Joe Biden is currently ahead of President Trump by a margin of 52% to 40%. We have an election coming up very, very soon. And who was announced just recently as Joe Biden's running mate? Kamala Harris. Now, if Joe Biden happens to win the presidency and Kamala Harris is his running mate, she will be the vice president of the United States. Wouldn't it make a lot of sense if the House majority became Democratic and the Senate majority became Democratic and you have a Democratic president and vice president, that the vice president who came up with the $2,000 per month stimulus package, don't you think that might be a little bit more likely? Now, I'd love to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about that? Now, I'm not saying that, maybe there will be a $2,000 per month stimulus package just because she becomes vice president and, just because the House and the Senate, might be majority Democratic. But the idea is maybe if it's not $2,000 a month, maybe there's some kind of monthly stimulus. I don't know, $1,500 a month, maybe $1,000 a month per person, per dependent. I don't think it's impossible for that to happen. So I'm just throwing the theory out there to you guys. Maybe I'm just being optimistic here, but I think that the best is yet to come in terms of stimulus checks. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is this possible? And, do you think that this might be too much money to be even spending, to spend in a deficit to assist Americans in the form of monthly stimulus checks? But let me know down in the comments. All right, guys, so now we're going to take a couple comments from the previous video, and then after that, we'll go into the details of the giveaway. All right, so the first comment or question comes from Kay Rocha. She says, investing. I currently sold my house, and I'm told that if I don't invest the money, then I'll have to pay a lot of money to the IRS for the sale of my home. Is this true? And if so, what kind of investment can I make so that I can be able to use my money? I'm a widow and I don't want to buy a new home. I want to be able to use the money to live and enjoy my last few years of my life. I am already elderly. All right, Kay, so I really appreciate your question. And it looks like you've got a couple of questions here, so I'm going to do my best to answer them. Now, I don't know your entire situation, so, there's some variables that I'm not able to account for. But to answer your very first question, you said that you recently sold your house and you were told that if you don't invest the money, then you'll have to pay a lot of money to the IRS in terms of taxes from selling your house. Now, in general, that is typically true. However, there are some caveats to that. Now, according to TurboTax, and I know people who have personally taken advantage of this wonderful benefit here, but there are certain aspects to selling your house that would actually allow you to not actually owe taxes. So the question is, do I have to pay taxes on the profit I made from selling my home? And according to TurboTax, it depends on how long you owned and lived in the home before the sale and how much profit you made. So for example, if you owned and lived in the place for 2 of the 5 years before the sale, then up to $250,000 of your profit is actually tax-free. So if you happen to be married and file jointly, then the tax-free amount doubles to $500,000. So in your case, if you happen to be single and lived in the house for the last 2 out of the 5 years, then $250,000 of the profit would be tax-free. If you're married, then up to $500,000 of your profit would be tax-free. I really hope that answers your question. And the second part of your question is, what kind of investment can you make so that you can be able to take advantage of the money? You said that you're a widow and you don't want to buy a new home. You just want to be able to use the money to enjoy life and enjoy the last few years of your life. Well, I think that's a great question too. I think at this point, you would probably want to focus on something that's going to maintain the value of your capital. So this is not investment advice, but if it were me looking to preserve my capital and looking to not allow inflation to erode away at my capital, I would be looking at probably a delicate blend of blue chip, very stable, blue chip dividend paying stocks, because more than likely your income is low. So if you have blue chip dividend paying stocks, these stocks will actually pay you money to hold on to them. Number one, that way the tax you owe on the dividends paid out to you is very low. And so that's a great strategy, but I would combine that with something like, great blue chip dividend paying stocks and perhaps some CDs, which are certificates of deposit. And of course, I would keep some in cash. Now, exactly how you come up with that ratio, you might want to check with a financial advisor. This is actually not financial advice. I'm just thinking, if that were me, what would I do? So I really hope that helps you. So the next question comes from Roberto. He says, I've been watching your video and I sent messages. I don't get an answer. Just want to know if people that are mixed married couples are going to get a check. Roberto, I really appreciate your question. I think you're asking me if mixed married couples will get a check, meaning like interracial couples. I'm not really sure what you mean by this, but first and foremost, I get a lot of messages and I do my best to respond to everyone. So sorry I didn't get back to you the first time, but with regard to getting a stimulus check, it's not based on race. So really, if you're both citizens, that's kind of like the minimum criteria for you to be able to get a stimulus check. I really hope that helps you out. The next comment comes from Noah Mason. He says, hey brother, how can I build my credit up fast? Noah, I really appreciate your question. And in fact, I got a number of questions related to credit and investing from many of you guys. In fact, I got a lot of questions from you guys with regard to how to build your credit, how to repair your credit. As you guys know, my financial freedom program, coaching program is still under development, and I really appreciate the feedback from you guys. Now, I've got a quick question from you guys. And there's a number, to answer your question, there are actually a number of ways that you can build your credit up fast. And I think I'll actually do a video on that in the coming weeks, just because there's so many people asking that question. I'd love to ask you guys a question though, because we've gotten so many questions regarding building up credit. If you, let's say hypothetically that your credit were to go from, I don't know, wherever it is now to 750 points or higher, I'd love to know, how does that help you out? If your credit was 750 points or higher, what would you be able to do with your life? How would that benefit you and your family? I'd love to know what that higher credit score would do to help you out financially. Let me know that in the comments. I would love to help you out. It just helps me to understand what your long-term objective is in order for me to give you the best advice just for you. All right, guys, so let's talk about the giveaway. So we are approaching 100,000 subscribers in our family, and it's just insane to cross this threshold. And I just wanted to do something like really special for you guys. And, I don't know what's going on with Congress in terms of how soon we're going to get this stimulus check out. I do believe it's coming, but I just don't know when it's coming. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to give away a stimulus check myself. You know, I personally didn't receive a stimulus check, so I know exactly what it feels not to get a stimulus check. And I know that times are hard. So I just wanted to kind of, you know, help you guys out as best I can. So I'm going to lean on you guys a little bit, you know, help me out. Help me figure out how to give away $1,200 in the way that would make the most sense or make the most impact on people's lives. If I give away $1,200, should I give away $1,200 to one person, or should I give away, you know, maybe $100 to 12 people? Now we can have 12 winners. Or maybe should I give away $50 to 24 different winners? You guys, let me know in the comments down below what you think would be the best way for me to, you know, celebrate and help each other out. I'd love to help the community, but I'd love to hear back from you guys. I just want to do the thing that makes the most difference for everyone. So anyway, that's all for this stimulus check and stimulus package update. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe and be sure to hit the notification bell button because you want to know as soon as I drop the next video. I'll be releasing further details on the giveaway, when that's going to happen. And of course, you know, whenever I release any new videos on finance and stimulus checks and stimulus updates, you want to be aware of it. So anyway, I really appreciate you guys for watching to the end of this video. Drop me a comment down below and I'll see you on the next one.